Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wa ala alihi washabihi ajmain. Good afternoon, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? How's life?
How's life? First of all prayers and praises be to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the Almighty God. Because of His blessings, we can attend this event in good health.
Okay, secondly, let us greet to and pray to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And this noon we have continue our webinar series, and now we have English department event. Before we go to our agenda,
there is a welcome speech from our head of English department to Mrs. Uliati. Time is yours.
Ya, kamu bangun. Bu Anmut, Bu Li. Okay. I'm quite a little bit nervous since, not nervous, yeah, but it's like feeling eager to see all of you here. And my position now is the head of English department. Okay, yes. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Praise be to Allah and prayers of salawat as well as prayers of salvation to our esteemed Prophet and guide, Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the Honorable Dean of Adab and Cultural Sciences, UIN Sunan Kalijaga, the Vice Dean for Academic Affairs and Vice Dean for Students Affairs and Cooperations, the honorable speakers, Mrs. Candace, Louise, Renaud, and Dr. Witriani, all participants that I highly respect, the lecturers of UIN Sunan Kalijaga, and welcome the head of English department of UIN Sunan Ampel, Surabaya, my college, other college from Ahmad Dahlan University, Ibu Dr. Fauzia, and all participants. As the head of English department, I highly feel honored today to have an event with you, an international webinar series. Okay, my hope is that this event is not only a media to transfer knowledge and experience from the speakers, but this also becomes a media to share any related academic experience and recommended solutions among all participants here. Well, I'm not going to deliver a long speech here. I just want to say happy webinar and thank you for your all participants. Okay, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Uli, for your speech. Now,
after this, we have our next agenda. But before that, I want to give this stage to our moderator, Mr. Fahrurrazi. Time is yours.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the master ceremony. So first of all, I feel honored because here there are many people from my lectures in my English department for many lecture from around Indonesia, from Sunan Ampel and also from Jogja, from Surabaya and from everywhere. Yeah. So before that, I would like to say congratulations for ADIA, Asosiasi Dosen Ilmu Adab, or Association of Adab Lecturers, and I would like to say congratulations for Faculty of Adab and Cultural Sciences with Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta, and the English department for conducting this international webinar. So then I would like to say thank you and welcome for our speakers today, Ms. Candace and also Ms. Witriani. And also I would like to say thank you and welcome for all participants who have been in these great seminars today. We are so happy to have all of you right now. Then before we start the presentation of the speaker, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Fahrurrazi, and you can call me Fahrur. I am alumnus of this department of this faculty, of Faculty of Adab and Cultural Sciences. Before we continue for the presentation, because this is online seminar, I hope that participants can be active by saying say hello in Zoom chat, or maybe also you can give responses or questions to the speakers who you want to ask when they are delivering their presentation. So yeah, you can to make this online webinar become interactive, so you can maximize Zoom chat for our webinar today. Next, I will introduce our speakers today. Yeah, we have great speakers today. We have Ms. Candace, who is Renaud, and also we have Ms. Witriani. She's my lecturer, yeah, Ms. Witriani. Ms. Candace Louise Renaud is an American. She is a native. Yeah, now she is teaching Thailand. Of course, she is teaching English. She also ever taught in our department, in English department, last year, last semester, because Ms. Renaud is a fellow of Regional English Language Office, or RELO, since 2018 until now. And the second speaker, Ms. Witriani, she is a lecturer of English department at Faculty of Adab and Cultural Sciences, Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta. And besides teaching, Ms. Witriani is also active in women activism, because Ms. Witriani is also a director of Center for Women Studies. Today, Ms. Candace will talk about English teaching in the middle of COVID-19, challenges and solution, and Ms. Witriani will talk about redefining popular culture in the age of auto-modernity. To maximize the time, I will invite the first speaker, Ms. Candace. How are you, Ms. Candace? Apa kabar?
Baik-baik saja.
Baik, alhamdulillah. Okay, nice to meet you,
Nice
Ms.
to meet
Candace.
you.
So here, Ms. Candace, you have about 20 minutes to deliver your presentation. So I'm sorry in advance. Maybe I will stop you if the time is up, or I will remind you if the time is up. Okay, Ms. Candace, the time is yours.
Okay, so first, while I share my screen here, I want to thank everyone for the invitation, and I'm so excited to see familiar faces here. I miss you guys, and I'm happy to see everyone's healthy and whole and doing well in Yogyakarta. So, let me go back here already. So I'm actually a little bit nervous about this myself, because this is the first webinar I've done online. I've done a lot of teaching workshops, but this is the first online workshop, so bear with me. So today my plan is to give you a little bit about me. Then I'd like to hear from the participants, because I expect you guys can teach me a lot about teaching online since you've been doing it. Then we'll talk about challenges, solutions, solutions, and maybe if we have time, we'll address some questions. So about me, I'm from Houston, Texas, as I said. Right now, I'm living in Ao Nang, Thailand with my cat, you see here. That's the first Thai lizard she's ever caught. She is now an international huntress. She has caught lizards in Texas, Indonesia, and now Thailand. I have a master's in education TESOL. I was an English language fellow from 2018 until March 20th of this year, when, thanks to COVID, the US State Department pulled all fellows back to the US. However, I did not go back. In August of this year, I received a certification as a teacher trainer. So I'm really excited to be here. Okay, so first I'd like to hear from you guys, because I know you guys have been teaching online. So in the chat box, type 1 or 2 challenges you have faced teaching online. What are your biggest challenges? Just 1 or 2, not a paragraph. Although I'm sure you could all write paragraphs, but just 1 or 2. Okay, I don't see anybody typing. Nobody has problems, or they're just not coming in. Ah, signal and focus. Here we go. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So many assignments. Yeah. Communication, internet connection, control students, connections, love, connections, effectiveness. Let's see, effectiveness. Sometimes we can't hear what the lecturer says. Oh, good. So we have some students on here as well. Good. Signal, bad internet connection. Okay, good. Thanks, you guys. Thanks. Yep, it seems like everybody's suffering the same challenges. Well, right now I am teaching 3 sections of an ESP class online, English for Agricultural Technology, and I have 32 students in one section, 52 in one section, and 90 in another. I understand exactly what you guys are suffering with. So the challenges I have found include technology related, that is internet connection, other issues we'll get into, and teaching and classroom management. So first, the technology related issues, lack of appropriate technology. Many students are having to work off of hand phones because they lack laptops and or desktops, PCs. And it's really difficult to look at a small screen. Poor or no internet connection. Class sizes. So is that a challenge for any of you? Just the size of the class. Lack of online educational resources, good resources that students can access online. And from a teaching and classroom management perspective, the challenges have been juggling family at home with teaching from home. I have a co-teacher in this other class, and her children keep interrupting the class, and I don't know how students feel about that as another teacher. That kind of gets on my nerves, honestly. Synchronous, rethinking lesson plans. So I've been used to classroom teaching. I've had to rethink how to teach synchronous and asynchronous classes. What can they learn online versus what can they learn offline? Class attendance. How do you know who is in class and who is not? Class engagement, students who are struggling. As a teacher standing in front of a classroom, I could see when a student looks confused or perplexed, or they don't understand what I'm talking about. Online, it's really hard to tell. And Indonesian students are so polite and so shy. Although I encourage them to write questions in the chat box if they're confused, they tend not to do that. And the other thing I find as a challenge is establishing connections, teacher to student and student to student. The classes I'm teaching now are first semester students, and they're overwhelmed with the thought of being in college at all. and they're not getting to meet their classmates. They're not getting to develop friendships with their classmates because everything is done online and they don't really get to socialize and know each other the way they do when they're on campus. And student motivation, the lack of daily structure. When they had to go to class, they had a schedule they had to keep. Now I think it's harder for them being at home when it's easier to turn on the television or go outside or do something else to stay focused on online classes. So because we have limited time, if I'm going too fast, let me know. So let's look at some solutions and understand you guys probably know more than I do about this. So I'm happy to hear what you have to say. For low bandwidth, no PCs, laptops, poor connections, students can turn off the video. They can call in if you're using a Zoom call. I don't know if anyone's ever tried this, but students can call in rather than log in online. So they can use their phone and have a number to call. The other, for large classes, one way to solve this problem is have half the class working offline while the other half works online. So you can assign an activity for half the class to be doing and then teaching the other class and vice versa. Lack of online educational resources. Teachers have to research and find appropriate resources. Now I'm going to provide a list at the end of this presentation, hopefully we'll get to it, of resources I've used that I really like. They're all free for both teachers and students. Okay, teaching and classroom management challenges. Family at home and with teaching from home. Here, lecturers have to set examples for their students, set a firm schedule and a quiet place away from children and noise. Honor that schedule week in and week out. So I've watched my co-teacher take phone calls in the middle of class or other calls. I think, to me, I think that's unfair to the students and it sets a bad example for them. Either we are going to teach the class or we're not going to teach the class. And if we're going to be in class 2 hours a week or whatever it is, we need to be in class if we want students to be in class. Teaching and classroom management. So we've done those. Rethink lesson plans, class attendance, who is in class and who is not. Class engagement, students who are struggling. Oh, hold on, guys. Did I go the wrong way? All right, here we go. Rethink lesson plans. What can students do outside of the classroom? So you only have so much time, and I have found teaching online that so much of that time is spent just dealing with connectivity issues. Students have a bad connection, or they can't hear you, or you can't hear them. And probably a good 30% of the class time ends up being just dealing with connectivity. So try to plan activities students can do offline. Another way to do this is flip the class. Prepare instructional videos for students to review before joining the class. So you do the video, if there's a lecture, record the lecture, send the students to video via email, the link. They can watch the video before class, and then when you get in class, you can either do practice assignments, answer questions, address issues, use the class time more productively than just lecturing. Plus, staying focused online for a long lecture, as you guys know, it really is very hard for everyone to do. Use class to discuss what they have learned, answer questions. Like I said, send them the video, then use class to discuss issues or talk about what they've learned. Okay, another issue I see is class attendance. Who is in class and who is not? I think most teachers tend to take roll at the beginning of a class. I don't know, maybe UII has developed a personal login system so students check in online. I would suggest varying the time, or else if they log in online at the beginning of a class, take a verbal role in the middle of class or more towards the end at an unpredictable time to make sure students are there. One of the things I've done too that works effectively is require students to transfer questions to in-class activities into an online LMS or learning management system after class. By that, I mean we do an activity in class and students are asked to write their answers on paper. And then when the class is over, they go to the learning management system and transfer answers to the LMS. If they are not in class, they are not doing the activity and they cannot transfer their answers to the LMS. So that's another way to kind of cross-check between who is in class, who is actually in class, and who is not. Let's see, engagement, students who are struggling. In class, if you're doing if you have Zoom, and I'm sure you guys are doing this, you just call on students to get them to talk. Create breakout rooms. If you're using Zoom, create small groups where they can break out and talk to each other. Encourage students to ask private questions in the chat box. Schedule, and another thing too is schedule online counseling sessions outside of classes. Set up a time where if students are worried about something, they can contact you directly and have a Zoom call with you or WhatsApp chat or talk to you some way other than in class if they're shy about talking. But I think you guys, at least my experience at UN, students were good about contacting you guys. So maybe that's continued. Establishing connections, teacher to student and student to student. Teachers check in with students individually throughout the semester. It's still not ideal. And I think I should have prefaced all of my comments to say that I think all of us, students and teacher alike, agree that online classes are not the ideal situation. I don't think, in my opinion, students get as much out of an online class as they do out of in-class classes. But we're having to live with this for now, so we have to all make the best of it that we can, make it as productive as possible. Another thing we can do is establish small student groups to work together out of class using online resources to connect. So assign group activities through, they can work at WhatsApp, they could work Zoom. Zoom is free for groups of 3 or less. So these guys can connect with each other over Zoom calls, WhatsApp, and Flipgrid. I'm going to show you. Has anyone used Flipgrid here online? Have you heard of it? Let me see. I got people maybe asking notification of assignment deadline is not our e-learning. Okay, materials can't be delivered perfectly because of some problems about network connection. Okay. Okay, sorry guys, I'm having to read questions after the fact. All right, so Flipgrid, I will talk about that later, but that's another way students can connect. Lack of daily structure. There's not a lot we can do about that as teachers, except try to create engaging lessons that encourage students to come online, make them want to be there because they're going to miss something interesting or exciting if they're not there. And of course, all of you guys are friendly. I don't even need to put that here. Be positive, be honest. If you're having a problem, they're having a problem, be honest with them. Okay, let's go back here. Be honest. All right, anything anybody else can think of for this one particularly, anything you guys can add? Actually, I think you could just speak, right? Deliver can't be. Anybody? Idea, thought? How are we doing time-wise? Questions? Anybody have questions? And open your microphone so I can hear you.
Sorry, Miss Candace, do you have finished your presentation?
Just about, yeah. Nobody has questions?
Actually, I have question, Miss Candace, about online counseling. What did you do when you do this online counseling?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know that you mentioned about online counseling, so I think this is interesting. Yeah, how maybe your experience when you do counseling online counseling.
Well, I think the good thing about Zoom is you can counsel a student one-to-one if they're having, or you can do it on WhatsApp, a call or a video call on WhatsApp as well. But if they're having a problem with work, a particular problem in their work, they can sit and talk to you about it. And then you can go through it with them one-on-one in an online session. Rather, students I find, and it's not just Indonesian students, even when I was teaching in the US, sometimes they're afraid to ask questions because they're afraid their friends are going to think they're stupid or they're dumb. And that's, you know, my experience has been, though, that if one student is brave enough to ask, there's 10 others that have the same question who are afraid to ask. But having an online counseling session gives them an opportunity, A, to get to know you, you to get to know them, and to deal with issues in a private setting rather than in front of a whole Zoom of faces, a Zoom call of faces.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Candace.
Sure, thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Okay, anyone else? Yeah, actually Miss Candace still have 5 minutes to deliver her presentation. Maybe if some of you want to give directly, if some of you want to have direct comment or question, you can right now a question.
And I'd also like to show you some resources if you haven't been using them. Okay, so let me see what's here. The first one at the top, I know people at UII listen to me go on about this, but I love Schoology as a learning management system, particularly for large classes, because as an instructor, you can set up assignments that are self-grading in Schoology. You can use it for taking roll, though you don't necessarily need that. Students can submit assignments. I know many people use Google Classroom. I personally am not a fan of Google Classroom because as a teacher, I don't need now 200 emails coming into me.
Yeah.
It's managed in Schoology, so students can communicate with me through Schoology. So I really like it. Although the one thing I like Google Docs, which is part of Google, you can use it individually, is for online writing assignments. So it's easier to assess and grade and see what the students did. Flipgrid, if you haven't used it, is a free video discussion platform for teachers and students. I'm going to try and hook into it right now. I don't know if I can do it. So hold on. I'm going to click on this link so you can see it. It's really easy to set up. And because I'm teaching pronunciation, I have given my students practice activities here to practice pronunciation. So they record it here and you can grade it. You can set up, like for here, let's see, this one. All right, let's just do one here. Very quickly. So they're learning how to hear the simple present tense. This one, they had to give them the assignment and then they make a recording. I hope Azara doesn't mind if I show her recording real quick. Easy peasy. And then I can go back in down here and I give her feedback on it. So this was P pronunciation. Okay, so now how do I get out of this? Okay. Okay, so that is Flipgrid. Academy is great for grammar practice. They have tutorials and activities where students can practice outside of class. I used WhatsApp even in the US for speaking practice. So I would give students, now it's hard in a big class, so you would need to assign small groups, but I would assign small groups to discuss. I'd give them a topic and they had to each respond to that topic and respond to each other. And you can do discussions in Schoology, set up a discussion there. Vocaroo is a low resource online voice recorder, and I use that at UII for some of my speaking classes. They make a recording, they email you the link, you listen to the recording, you can assess it. Let me see, I can't see my top one here. I think maybe that, English page is good for grammar, rules, practices, lots of practice there. And all of these are free resources. English pronunciation gives recordings for each pronunciation. See if I can get to it very quickly here. Hold on. So students can listen. Introduction, let's see. So let's look at a vowel sound. Click on it. And you can listen to the recording. And then there are also words. It's a fairly extensive website, so students can listen to the words. And that's what they were doing in that Flipgrid, is they went and they listened to the P sound and they were asked to practice those words. Quizlet is learning tools and flashcards. You could use it for Arabic, anything actually, but of course I use it for English.
Miss Candace.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the time is up. I'm sorry,
Okay.
I should stop you.
Okay.
We still have Q&A session after this. After the second speaker, we will have Q&A session. We still continue the discussion about your topic. Okay. Thank you so much, Miss Candace.
Thank you. And I see Fitri Juliana has a, oh, hey, Fitri. Good to see you or hear from you. Okay.
Thank you so much, Miss Candace. So now we will go to the second speaker. The second speaker is,
I'm looking forward to hearing her.
Okay, the second speaker is Miss Witriani. So how are you, Witri?
Nice, thank you, Fahrur. Candace, how are you? Long time.
I know, good to see you.
Really miss you. You look good with the new hairstyle, I guess.
Oh Lord, I finally got a good one. The others were horrible.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, Witri, you can continue your you can deliver your presentation now. Yeah, the time is about 20 minutes, and I'm sorry if I should stop you if the time is up. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Fahrur. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you all in this interesting webinar. Okay, it's honor for me to deliver my what is that? My talk about okay, since Bu Uli Bu Uli asked me to talk about things related to with the pandemic and everything, and I try to find something talk about redefining popular culture in the age of auto-modernity. Because I teach cultural studies, I think this is things that this very related with our webinar theme today, because it is related to what we done, because since last last 6 months, okay, we are locked in the room at home, and could not see each other or through online classes, and it's difficult time. But everything should goes on, like okay, and then we have to do online class, we have to do online meeting, and we have to do online online workshop and everything, and then that's why I think we are not really called the age of like post-modernity, but like, let's say auto-modernity, because I took this idea from Samuel Hansen about this. Okay, now, okay, where we are, okay, about here, maybe I should take the other, the updated photos from Google, but I think it is still relevant, in which we live in the age of digital world, in which everything should on the screen, using a screen, any gadget, including the movie, Netflix, Xbox, and everything, including game and Google and everything. And we are, it is what we call popular culture. Next, okay, this is, things, a big concept. What is popular culture? And then this is what we live. We live in the digital age, and then we live in auto-modernity. because everything's changed so fast, especially in the last month, probably because we have everything's changed, the system changed, and we have to adapt with this new system. Okay, we can start with the definition with the popular culture. Yeah, according to T.B. Turner, for example, it is where the construction of everyday life maybe explain. The point of doing this is not only academic, that is an attempt to understand the process or a practice. It is also political, to examine the power relation that constitute this form of everyday life, and thus reveal the configuration of interest its construction serve. And then popular culture also consists of consists cultural text, practice, working class, as well as text and practice produced and consumed and mass scale. The key word for popular culture is, of course, the mass scale, in which everything should be open and then delivered to the mass audience. And then here, yeah, it is a shared knowledge, of course, of specific group, yeah, and at a specific time, of course, and each community has their own specific culture which is delivered, and then it is because of its communality, pop culture both reflects, of course, and influence people's way of life. And because it is linked to specific time and place, pop culture is transitory, subject to change, and then often an initiator to change, of course. And then it is, the development of popular culture is closely related to postmodernism. Usually it is because it comes in the same area, at the same time, in early 20th century. What I mean, why? Because what? Okay, maybe let's change. It is pop culture. It through games, text, brand, probably internet, TV, movie, music, advertising, sport, and etc. And it is and accessible to masses. This is the idea, I guess, about why everything around us is what we call popular culture. Okay, and then now why we think about rethinking about postmodernity. Usually the idea of postmodernity is actually the kind of academic critiques of modern culture and philosophy. And then it is the characteristic is of course multiculturalism and social cultural relativism, and describe a series of contemporary social transformation. But it is why some theory that related to the modern aspect of era, usually we use postmodern theory, which explain what happened around us. But why I'm more interested in see this era as like auto-modernity, in which here, according to Robert Samuel, our world is characterized by two contradictory tendencies. He say like automation and the desire for autonomy, in which personal freedom, the concept of digital youth, and pay attention to the formation of new subjectivity of the era of auto-modernity. And then because everything controlled by machine, and we control the machine, and we are also controlled by machine, in which that's why it is much more, what is that, it's like a concern, according to Samuel, let's say, auto-modernity all concern a cultural backlash that political, psychological also, and technological, historical, and artistic also. It is react to the post-modernity on social and cultural conflict, in which autonomous individual, automated social system, and etc., in which we, at least in this pandemic, let's say, we use this with this machine like gadget and everything, almost 24 hours. Our life is based on this. Okay, how we live, it is, but the idea why I talk about auto-modernity. Okay, now we live in this digital age in which everything's connected with the wide screen, with the switch, and then the web, and here we are connected. It is not only multi what is that cultural anymore, but everyone connected with the screen, with a very wide what is that connection. Here, okay, before I get back to this, probably I take the defining the digital society by Christian. Here, for instance, there is algorithmic the characteristic of digital society. First is there is algorithmic governance. It means that it is the idea of how we are a society driven by what is let's see, means that algorithmic governance is the way like social media work in our life, how we are what is that constructed or connected with our group only, and then how the information that comes for us depends on our what is that, our interest only, our political our political view or political interest and everything, and then that's why we are like Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, we will connect it with those things. And the idea of, let's say, for instance, a few years, last year about how people got polarized by two things like cebong or kampret, who's belong to that depends on the what is that algorithmic government, the source of information that they got. And then of course the second one, they talk about platformization. It means that like how it is like how the digital machine put us into certain platform, including including the social media that we use, including WhatsApp, YouTube and everything, including here like the App Store, the online shop and everything, in which everyone should connect it with this machine. It is defined as penetration of infrastructure, economic process, and governmental framework of digital platform in economic also, and spheres of life, as well as the reorganization of cultural practice, in which those who, there is a lot of platform that we do in life, and it's very fantastic. Okay, the other thing is datafication. It is just making of information, which is one sense human beings have been doing, not only about creation, the symbols and writing, but also the refer to what is that quantification of human life through digital information, like how we don't have a privacy anymore in these digital ages, in which all you think, all what you know about one thing, you can find it in Facebook, Apple, Google, and everything. There is no, it is like big data. What we can find everything around the world with this, using this big data. There is no, okay, there is no room, yeah, this big room, this becomes the sources which is accessible by, we can be accessed by everyone around the world, and it is used with anything, both in knowledge or political interest, economic interest, and everything. Let's say Apple, Microsoft, and everything. And the other thing is like the characteristic is a filter bubble. It is like a concept which suggests search engine and social media together with recommendation. It is, for example, like how, yeah, like how Cebong and Kampret, for example, how Trump get elected, for example, because of the, apa ya, in Indonesia we call that penggiringan opini publik, or everything in which if it is should be bubble, and then we trust that, and then, and the other thing is privacy. Also, it highlights central ambivalence of privacy. Okay, whether we have a privacy or not, we think that we live in the we think that we are in our room, we are in our what is that platform, our Facebook, our Instagram, but so you can we can talk anything, but actually we are not. We are in the big world in which everybody can access us, and then sometimes it really, what is that, dangerous to talk. Okay, let's say if few years ago we talk in the diary that, or we have, and nobody can access. Now you can talk to your Facebook, and then, or your Twitter, or your about what you think and what you feel, and then everybody know that. And that's why there is also Undang-Undang ADIA, for example, to control and everything. And why? Now, how we why I say like redefining, is that still what we call popular culture anymore? Because there is a shift on defining this. For instance, like a different way of life, system education, market, for instance, online shop and everything, economic system is a different with the what is that, the a few years tradition. Let's say like if, for instance, 5 years ago, the scholars still think that like mall is like cathedral of shopping. It means that, but not anymore. Online shop is much more what is that, popular rather than any mall in the world, and it's become the biggest mall in the world. And then there is a different way of talk, of course, the different way of feel, for example, how to say to something to the public, how there is no, what is that, there is a little, a bit, what is that, there is no difference between where is the public area or private area, that, and everything as it, and everything could be consumed by everyone. And let's say in literatures, for example, I think we have in English department, we have to think about like virtual art, like let's say like Webpad, Webtoon, everything. We can, it is, what is that, the work of literature in not only what is print, like what we have a few years ago, but also in digital platform here. How it is, how we should be ready with this kind of analysis. For example, if we as the lecture, how we deal with any kind of, let's say like a webtoon or webpad in which everybody can share everything about their writing, their talk, their thought, their idea about anything, and then becomes one of the media that as an English lecture, for example, for English student, I think we can also think about this. And also virtual community, okay, like this, okay, we are not really connected, we are not really, but it is virtual. We have a community, WhatsApp group, Facebook, or Instagram and everything, but it's still, okay, virtual. Do a different way of social engagement, of course, in which we have to connect. We can do many things else, social, but it's still virtual and different. And the last thing, I think, to what is that, to make a bold is like a different way of civilization, and then where we are, and then I think we need to be ready for this. I think I take the 20 minutes, Fahrur, I guess, and then thank you. Okay, and then any question?
Okay, thank you, Witri, for your good presentation. So if I may conclude for these both speakers, yeah, actually they talk about digital. Miss Candace talk about in specific ways about how we build our culture in English teaching, but Witri talk about in a larger topic, talk about what happened actually in our digital age today. So now it's time for Q&A session. So we will have two sessions. Yeah, we will have two sessions. The first session for Q&A is from Zoom chat. I will read the question from chat from all of you who have questions. You can directly question to Bu Witri or Miss Candace. And the second session, it will be live questions. So for those who have questions, you can raise your virtual hand here in Zoom. Okay. I will start from the first session from question from chat here in Zoom. Yeah. Okay, right. I still find. Okay. The first question. This is for Miss Candace. Online classes cause a lot of enthusiasm for learning. What is your method to increase enthusiasm for online class? So, this is about enthusiasm for online class. The second question also for Miss Candace. Nice to see you in this great webinar. I am one of your students last year in English department. Wow. I have question. When we are as a student in class, sometimes our lecturer give us game because we often feel bored. But it is not in online class. We face online class, we often feel bored and also stressed. Oh, because of some assignment. Is there solution for the problem, or maybe how to entertain students? Yeah. This is also about enthusiasm for students, yeah, Ms. Candace. Next, from Fatih Auni Aziz. Hello, Ms. Candace. I have question. I actually have serious reservation about this online study. I cannot mind your friend. I cannot meet my new friends. I cannot participate in college activities, and I cannot really understand the material because of poor transmission and inadequate explanation. So how do you make this online class effective? Okay, still about effective class. Next, this question is from Ahmad Fauzan from IAIN Madura. This question is from YouTube. Because we have YouTube streaming. So the question is, Ms. Candace, would you kindly give us tips and tricks on how to provide high interaction of English with low technologies? Wow. Okay. So next, Firmansa, how we can increase, maybe this question can be answered by Bu Witri also, how we can increase our relationship with classmates during online learning. Next, this question is for Bu Witri. The pandemic this time has created new culture that has resulted in a lack of direct social interaction between people. Do you think this can have an effect on the pop culture shift nowadays?
Bisa. No.
Next, Hovifa Astuti. This question is for Ms. Candace. I am new student for this year, and I want to ask you about how students can struggle to adapt with many platforms for continuous to learning. And I feel that learning online is harder, sometimes because many worries about some problem like how to operate the application, having wait until the teacher see your message to answer, and sometimes I feel that I'm learning less when online classes because I just cannot pay attention. So that's all. So the question for Ms. Candace is mostly about effectiveness in class, yeah. And for Bu Witri, yeah, also here is talk about what is the impact of popular culture. Okay, the first speaker, Ms. Candace, time is yours to answer the questions.
Okay, so let me see if I can address this effectively. First, I relate to every student who has asked this question. How do I keep from being bored? How do I stay engaged when I'm not there? If that's enough in class. And I will tell you as a teacher, it is really hard to create ways to keep you guys engaged. Particularly when we're dealing with connectivity issues, students dropping in and out of class and because of their connections. So I think the opportunity, and this comes from a Western perspective, that's very, very different from Indonesia. First of all, right now I'm dealing with first semester students. My classes are all first semester. I would love to flip the classroom, to be honest, and send lectures on, create video lectures, have students watch those, and then we come online and we're doing activities. My concern with that is that these students are so overwhelmed, period, with the thought of college. Now we've got technology to deal with. It's extremely difficult. There are other things that I do with them I don't do, because many of them, you have to give up one or the other. You can't do a Zoom call and a Quizlet that would be effective, or Kahoot like we did, or games like that. So it's just a challenge. And to me, this is an opportunity for Indonesian students to take more responsibility for their own learning, particularly in a language class. You cannot learn a language by listening to a lecture. You have to speak. You have to practice. You have to work at it. And when you think that your job is to sit on a Zoom class and just listen to someone, that's not going to help you. You should be asking questions. You should be looking for opportunities to speak. As lecturers, we can create lesson plans. I'm not sure, any teachers on here who've done a good job of creating games for their students online? Raise your hand. I'd love to hear what you have to say, because I am not an expert at this. I will tell you, I think we're all having to, we call this baptism by fire. We're all having to learn this the hard way, right? So I did some flipping the classroom and some online teaching before I came to Indonesia. I've used online resources in class for out of class activity, but some of the stuff, you just can't do both. You either have to get off of Zoom, because students don't have a phone. So if you give them something else to do, they have to leave the Zoom call to do it, or they have to be on the Zoom call. So I'm afraid I'm not giving you a very good answer, but I'm afraid I don't have an excellent answer for that. Anybody else have great answers? Please speak up. I'm ready to learn too. And for the gentleman who asked about the low resources, you know, without technology, that is a challenge. I know in the US, and the problem is at university, these students are all over Indonesia. If consolidated, for instance, in Jogja, you could say, okay, students, here are your written assignments. Come by my office, pick them up. We won't have class, you pick them up, you do it. Here's activity, you come do it, you pick it up, you take it home, you do it, you bring it back. With students all over Indonesia, you can't even do that. you know, so if they have no technology, when you say low technology, I'm not sure, can they get email assignments? Do they have no internet? So I didn't show that in my last slide, but my email is on there. And I'm happy to share that with anyone who would like to ask questions of me. And if I can answer, and I can do some research on your question, sir, and email you if I can find out something, because the good thing about having been a fellow is I've got access to lots of resources. I may not know the answer, but I might be able to find someone who can come up with some good answers for you. Anybody else? Anybody have something they want to add to engagement, student engagement? What have you done that's been successful in the classroom?
Ms. Candace, if I may share my experience, usually I maximize Zoom chat by asking some questions to the students, and I ask them. Usually, I use a reflective question. For example, what do you feel today? So, just kind of question in the beginning of our meeting. What do you feel today? So I just asking about that simple question, yeah, to engage the students in Zoom chat.
Good, yeah, good idea. One of the things I've done, because I don't know these students, is ask them, we can't spend the whole class, and these are big classes, start the class off, asking 5 of them to introduce themselves to me. So the first class, I introduce myself to them. I show a slide with a little script that they follow. Hi, my name is, I'm from blah, blah, blah. I've lived here this long. I like to, and I like reading blah, and they fill in the blank. So that's one way to start the class off. That's kind of a warm up and get students speaking. One of the challenges I have, being a non-Bahasa Indonesia speaker, not fluent in it, many of my students have very, very, very low English skills. So it's really, it's fortunately my co-teacher translates for me, but that's also a challenge, I think.
Yeah.
Anybody else got good ideas? That's a good idea. I like that, Fahrurrazi.
Yeah.
Nobody else has ideas? Okay. I see some student names I recognize. Putri Chaya, Dewanta, I think.
Yeah.
Enggak boleh.
Wow.
Oh. Okay. I think Ms. Candace has already answered all the question. And of course, yeah, when we deal with our class, this is a challenges for us. We should be creative. We should be creative how to make our class effective. It depends on teacher also, but also it depends on the students. We also should build your friends. Yeah, student also should build the environment, become good environment. Although it is just online, so friend to friend, student also should have good connection.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where students can take Zoom. I mean, this is how I stay in touch with my friends back in the US is Zoom calls, you know? And if you have 3 people in a group, you don't have to pay for Zoom. It's free, and you can be on there, at least during COVID, as long as you want to be. So teachers can assign group discussions. You can record that discussion and have students upload it online. But you can do the same thing in WhatsApp. I don't know if you can record it in WhatsApp, but I know if you do a chat link, and you can see that online if you assign it in groups.
Okay.
Maybe other platforms other than Zoom. I know Google has one, but I think you have to pay for it. But so good that Zoom is free.
Okay, Ms. Candace, maybe we will go to the second speaker, Bu Witri, to answer some question. Yeah. Bu Witri also some new question there, yeah, from Afginanda and also from Lisa Rosilana Hankam. With using online media, dealing with censorship and lack of privacy has been quite a problem. So how we deal with the lack of privacy of social media that might collect our personal data with certain purposes in mind, and how to deal the media censorship that might be proposed for certain interests. The next question, Lisa Roslina. What is the influence of modern culture in our life and how to be good one that creative in using technology? Okay, Witri, time is yours.
Okay. Thank you for the next for the questions. Difficult question, I guess, because I could not. Okay, it is things that we deal every day. That in our life, in which we have to adapt with a new situation, especially in this pandemic situation, in which we have to count our life mostly, maybe 900% to media. Okay, thank you, Mujibur Rahman. Pandemic created a new culture, of course. This is what we deal with during this pandemic era. We count on our life to these online things, and then of course and it is lack of social, in which we lack of social interaction, including like you, maybe those who start this class in 2020, let's say, maybe some of you, no one know exactly who his or her classmate and etc. And then no one, we are in the same class, but we live a different part and only connected with one room, and it is not easy to know each other, right? And then that's why there is, of course, what we see, like it is kind of a shifting of popular culture, different way of life of us, and then that's why I think that it is one idea that we are dealing with. And also for Agi Fananda, thank you for, I think, how using media, dealing with censorship and lack of privacy has been quite a problem. Of course, we have to think about what we mean by privacy. That's when dealing with the social media, we know that it is not, we don't have any privacy anymore since you talk to media, because it is a mass, a mass media in which everybody can consume. So you have to be careful in what you think and what we thought. Although, for example, any platform talk about what you feel today or what you think, you could not really talk as you think or as you feel in media, although you want to feel in that way. It is not a diary in which you can talk to your diary and then keep it for yourself, but you keep it, you talk to the mass audience. That's difficult thing for many people. Think that his Facebook or his Instagram is for her himself. No, it is for media consuming, and then that's why you have to be careful for that. And then that's why there is no lack of privacy in social media. If you want to have your privacy, don't talk to media, don't talk to your Instagram. And then let's say, and how to do media censorship. Let us say we cannot live with this. It is a new life that we have to realize that. And then I think media, that's why media literacy, one of the most important thing that we have to deal with, how to talk, how to say. That's why there is a law that that's why there is we need a law to control us, not to spread the hate speech or hate spin, let's say, or hoax and everything in which. That's because we have to be responsible responsible with any kind of thing that we talk in our media. Although that's why in this auto-modern era or digital native, or what is that? Your concern is only how to make you, what is that, literate. Let's say, like for instance, like maybe I have to put what is that, the last slide that I forgot here. Let's say like here. Okay, here, let's say there is a digital native debate here, in which, for instance, I guess that some of the students here are digital native, in which they were born into the digital age, and then their brain structure in different from previous generation, of course, and then characteristic multi access information through hyperlinks and everything, and then have spent their life surrounded by technology. This is where you are, I guess, and it is for them it is easy to adapt with this new technology, but maybe for some of us, we are digital immigrant here. We have to learn here how to learn from Zoom. We have to learn how to talk with media. We have to learn with, we only think that our social network is our privacy. It is not. And then that's why some people are fascinated by technology. And then that's why they talk many things through this platform. And then many things have little appreciation, skill and everything. And I think that's why talking about this issue is always need our concern, how to be literate with this new thing. And then from what is that? Who else? Lisa, yeah. How to deal with media censorship? I think, okay, from Agi Vananda, the censor, it should be from yourself. You could not, because you own your media, and then you have to control yourself how to think. And then talk, let's say. And what is the influence from Lisa, Roslina, thank you. What is the influence of modern culture in our life and how to be great? There is a lot of course, there is a lot of influence. And then you know that everything's around you influence the modern one. You have to adapt with this new situation, how you have to be prepared with everything that around you, and then and how to be a great one. You have to be literate. You have to how to deal with media, how to deal with popular culture, how to deal with how to learn something in this new world, because unless you kalau tidak kita akan tertinggal gitu with the age. Because you know that it got back to the what is that, the idea of popular culture. It's very dynamic, and then it's changed fast, and what we deal with today is the changes itself. Okay, I think I have answered those questions. Is there any more? Nice. Okay, thank you.
Can I make a comment, Ibu Witri?
Yeah, please.
I'm trying to find the hold up your hand thing. I can't find it. Sorry. I don't know if anyone in Indonesia has seen this. I've begun watching, but it's really insightful on your topic there. the Netflix documentary Social Dilemma, The Social Dilemma.
Yeah, social dilemma. Yeah, I have
Yeah,
seen that also.
It's really frightening in that how much what you think is being told, you are being told what to think by these algorithms. I mean, you're right on target. We are being controlled by forces beyond us.
Yeah.
I had an interesting discussion with a woman from Germany. As you can imagine, there are people from all over the world. I call us COVID refugees here in Thailand. And she was talking about how in Europe, how in the US, the government watches us. And we got into something, an argument. I was like, no, you don't understand. And after our conversation, I began to understand. In Europe, they are so sensitive to privacy. If they go on a website, you must give the website permission to collect data. In the US, it's the reverse. You have to tell the website they cannot collect data. The difference, it's not the government in the US doing it. The US is driven by profit motive and they want the data so they can sell it and get money. But it's still the same issue, you know. And so now that I know that, I make more of a conscious effort when I go to a website and it says we have cookies. I used to just say, yeah, fine. Now I go say which cookies they have access to, what they can and cannot collect. So the person who asks about their privacy, that's one way to control a little bit.
Thank you, Candace. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I love the movie. It's social dilemma and becomes also what is that? Maybe it is recommended also for those who like this. Yeah, students. It's very nice movie because it's about us, how we deal with these new things. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So host, please unmute the participants. Okay, so now we will have a live Q&A session. So I want some participant here to raise your hands. Yeah, this is a great participant because we have around 200 participants today in this webinar. So I want you raise your hand, virtual raise hand here. But before that, I want to say thank you for Mr. Abul Yatama from Universitas Aceh and Miss Felia and Miss Fauzia from Ahmad Dahlan University. Thank you so much for attending this webinar. And also I want to say hello for Pak Fuad and Pak Bambang, our lecturer for English Department, English and Kalijaga, who are in Australia right now, Pak Bambang and Pak Fuad. Hello, Pak Bambang. Hello, Pak Fuad. Thank you so much for being here with us. Yeah. Okay, please participant, raise your hand. Give your question today. Okay, we have Aina Ardianti. Next, anyone else? Okay, please host unmute Miss Aina Ardianti because she will have question for us. Aina, you can open your camera and unmute your microphone and you can start question. Aina.
No?
No, yeah. Miss Aina. She raised hand, yeah, Witri, yeah, but I don't know. Where is the host? Okay. No question? Yeah, our time actually almost finished because yeah, we still have we have limited time. Maybe we should conduct this webinar again, yeah, Bu Witri and Miss Candace. So please, anyone else question, please, live question right now. Okay, If there is no question, I want to invite Dr. Wahyu Sumajanti as the head of English department from UIN Sunan Ampel Surabaya to give comment for us. Bu Wahyu Kusuma Yanti, time is yours, Bu. Okay. Open your microphone, Ibu Wahyu.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Fahrurrazi. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yeah, it's nice to meet you, Mbak Bu Witri, Bu Uli, and Bu Candace. Yeah, I joined this program because I think the theme is very interesting. And here, thank you again for giving me chance to share the online classes in my university. For our department, English department, we don't have a significant problem, except for skill subject classes, such as speaking and listening class. As you know, during this pandemic, this COVID-19, we cannot use the language laboratory, so that it becomes a problem for lecturers who teach listening class and also speaking. So mostly of the lecturer uses a synchronous method. And for speaking classes, lecturers ask students to make a video of their speaking practice, either in pair or in group. And in our university, we are, the lecturers, encouraged to use Google Classroom this semester because the Google Classroom has been set in our university's platform or web. Last semester, when we have to conduct the online classes, a teacher choose the platform that they're familiar with, such as with Suluji, or sometimes using others, Mentimeter, and some using Google Classroom. I think it becomes a problem for the students because they have to install many learning platform, and maybe their gadget didn't accommodate with it. Okay, so I think the most challenging things in online classes is that to make the students engage in the lesson. For me, I am teaching research method in literature this semester, and indeed it is a problem, because when doing research method, it is impossible, or it is better that students do it individually. But still, we need to set a group work or group discussion, so my method for engaging the student is that in my Google Classroom streaming, I set, for example, a question, and then I set the time for them to comment. Here from the students' comment, I know that the students is active. Because I think the funniest thing in online classes is that when the teacher is busy explaining, the students are sleeping. It happens with my children, So they are listening. I thought they are listening to their teacher speaking, through their gadget. In fact, they are sleeping. Okay. Well, I think that's all I want to say. Thank you, Pak Fahrurrazi.
Okay. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Bu Wahyu. So because the time is almost finished, so yeah, we will come to the end of our webinar. But before that, I want to Miss Candace and Bu Witri give some closing statements before we end our webinar today. Okay, Miss Candace, time is yours.
Well, first I want to say thank you to Ibu for inviting me, and I'm so happy to see all these familiar faces. Ibu Witri, Pak Margo, Pak Daniel, all of the students. I've been scrolling through the screen to see who all's here. And I really appreciate the opportunity. This is a challenge. I think we all know for all of us, for students and teachers. And I think given the choice, we would all rather be back in a classroom, teaching in front of our students and students being together. But this does not have to be the end of the world, nor the end of the learning. It just means changing our mindset and making effort, putting our efforts in a different direction to do the best we can with what we've all been handed, you know, and students have to rethink the way they've been learning, and teachers have to rethink the way they've been teaching. And I think, you know, in the end, hopefully we'll come out better for it. And that's the best we can try for anyway. So thank you everyone for your time and attention. I posted my email in the chat box. If anyone would like to email questions or if I can help in some way, please message me.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Candace. Next, Bu Witri, time is yours.
Okay. Thank you, Fahrur, and also thank you all, Iboli, Buahiyu, how are you? And also Candice, especially. Okay, closing statement, I guess it is, we live in challenging era, in challenging society in which, okay, you have to adapt with a new situation and new things around you. Things that I really adore, for instance, with Candice is how she deal with the technology much more advanced rather than me, let's say. And then it is okay, you know that we have to be ready with the new. That's why you have to learn every day. And then I think pandemic is not the what is that right now? Pandemic is not what is that? It's not a barrier anymore for studying. Okay, you can learn from many sources and it is available for you. And then do not really count on especially in learning process of studying, learning process, for instance, do not really count on your lecturer only, because you have a lot of what is the media, you have a lot of sources that you can access anytime and or anywhere. And I think that for those who feel difficulty in online classes, I think it is not a big deal anymore, because you are a digital native, and then you have to conquer your laziness to improve yourself. Okay, thank you, Fahrur, and then everyone. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Miss Candace, and thank you, Bu Witri, for your great presentation today. So this is the end of our webinar. But before that, I would like to say thank you for participants here. We have around 200 participants in this webinar. Thank you so much for your active participation. And also, I would like to say thank you for my lecturer here, Bu Uli, Pak Daniel, Pak Bang, Pak Fuad, Pak Margo, and everyone here from English department. Thank you so much for this good opportunity to conclude our webinar today. I will remember the word that come from Miss Candace, energize, and from Bu Witri, literate. So we should be in this pandemic. We should be energized ourselves, and also we should energize the others, and also we should be literate in this digital age. So again, thank you so much. See you. I wish we can still have next opportunity to meet each other to talk about our problem today and to have solution together. So wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and see you.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Salam.
wabarakatuh. Thank you, Bu Candace. Thank you, Candace. Ibu Witri.
Miss Candice. Kak Unham.
Thank you, Miss Candice.
Ibu Wahyu,
Take
Ibu
care.
Verlia
Stay
from
healthy,
Aceh,
everybody. Stay healthy. We're
Ibu Fauzia from Ahmad Dahlan University. Thank you very much. Yeah, we also have a guest, a participant from Aceh also.
Oh, wow.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Ya, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yay!
Miss Candice.
I know these people. Oh my God.